Thanks, Brian. I always asked Brian to perform in the city, and he asked me to perform here, and I felt like I couldn't say no. So I'm here. I'm really happy to be here. I do most of my writing in monthly projects, and back in June of 2007, the post office came out with a new series of Star Wars stamps. And I knew I wanted to do some sort of project with them, but I wasn't sure. And I knew I was going to mail them to someone, and I was sure of. I was sure I'd mail them to Brian. So
because I'm a dork. That's the story.
I didn't say that. And so I went into my cardboard box of cardboard and saw what cardboard I had enough of, and I had a whole bunch of boxes of goobers. So I used the front and backs of goober boxes and put different Star Wars stamps on each. And usually with these projects, by the third day, they've hit their stride. So they wound up becoming where each stamp would be about, each poem would be about that stamp, and it would be sung to the tune of a song you already knew. So Brian asked me to sing this one today. So this is July 21st, 2007. It's a C3PO stamp sung to the tune of Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran. C3PO, what do you say? Speak all those languages today. Do, 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 do. R2D2, don't walk away from your sidekick friend every way. Do, 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 do. He falls all around, he's lost and he's found, and he's looking to help Luke. Looking to help Luke. Looking to help Luke. And one more of those, July 27th. A Han Solo and Chewbacca stamp, sung to the tune of Heroes by Bowie. I wish I could fly like the Falcons, like falcons can fly, but something will keep us together, Chewie. Let's go beat them until they are never. Oh, we can be Jedis just for one day.
Yeah.
We can be Jedis, yeah, just for one day. And my friend Sean and I did a project about 10, 12 years ago that we called the States Project, where we took a list of all the states in DC in alphabetical order, and as we got to a state that we'd both been to, we would write a poem about it until one of us said, stop. So here's one of my only Connecticut poems. The last time I saw my Uncle Joey alive was at a Roadhouse restaurant in Bantam. He coughed repeatedly. You know, you might want to stop smoking anymore, I told him. He lunged across the table. Why don't you worry about yourself and I'll worry about myself? I wrote a whole bunch of poems. In these daily projects you find you write about certain things a lot. So I wrote about the Gilmore Girls a lot. And we're in New Haven, which is where a bunch of it was set. So I thought I'd read a Gilmore Girls poem. This is from May 1st of 2007. And I will always love you, Lorelei Gilmore. Sing to me in the bar by the river. Sing to me the way you do, knee-length blue floral print dress. A slight hiccup to your voice. Not a Buddy Holly, Oella, Oella, Oella. Just your voice. Not quite right, but right. And, so last year on January 3rd, I realized I wanted to do some sort of writing project. And I've backdated projects before where I would write like a January 1st poem and a January 2nd poem. But I didn't want to do that. So instead, I decided to do a weekly project. And what I did was I, again, went into my cardboard box and cut up 52 postcards for last year and sent out poems to people who I loved, all ending with the refrain from The Cure. It's Friday, I'm in love. So this is to Anselm Berrigan and Karen Weiser, June 24th of last year. Dear Anselm and Karen, my father was born on the family's kitchen table on the first floor of 305 East 3rd Street on Memorial Day of 1930. about 3 years after his sister Marion had been born in the same place. After he was bar mitzvahed, the family moved uptown to East 7th Street, just below Avenue C. When he was 16, Dad and his friends used to go to Charlie's Candy Store, 3 blocks over on 4th Street, between B and C, run by, yes, Charlie, who always reminded Dad of Irving Berlin. And then they'd head over to PS 15, just up the block between C and D, to play softball or shoot hoops on the concrete schoolyard. In 1948, Charlie brought a TV to the back and put up bleacher-like benches. The Kirschenbaums didn't own a set, so Dad and his friends would head to Charlie's to watch Milton Berle in the fights over egg creams or maltage that Charlie's wife Mary would bring over. It's Friday. I'm in. Love, David. This is, and the way all these cards got written was I wound up looking at the address, and I would study the address, and there'd be something in the address that would make me write the poem. So here's one to my friend Daniel Nestor, which reminded me of my friend Douglas Rothschild, who was the star here. Dear Daniel, Juliana Sparrow was giving a reading in the Chelsea section of Manhattan in the mid-90s with 2 other poets I can't quite remember. And after reading, 15 or 20 of us gathered to hang out afterwards. Only we were nowhere near the Poetry Project, so none of us knew where to go. So we all started walking down 7th Avenue, people leaving the group as the time and distance of the search increased, until we were almost a mile in and by St. Vincent's Hospital, RIP, where my big brother had his face operated on a little over a decade ago to realign his eyes after he crashed when the ramp for the rollover contest he was defending was placed too close to the wall. Douglas Rothschild stopped by St. Vincent's, picked up a bottle laying nearby, and threw it as hard as he could against the short white concrete rimming the grounds, yelling, "Fucking poets!" and headed home. The coda is Juliana, me, and 2 others ended up at the Cornelia Street Cafe about a mile and a half from where we started. It's Friday. I'm in. Love, David. I wrote some of these cards last year to some people who were here, so I thought I would read those. So this is one that I wrote out to the Lamoureux. Dear Rachel, Mark, and Amabel, in 7th grade, Oceanside, Long Island, 1978, every time someone of substance was traded to or signed by the Mets, the very next day, David Best would come to school wearing a replica of their jersey. Every time. They looked like pajama tops, so I dubbed them PJ, and it stuck among our friends. When I was a kid, maybe 7 years old, I wore a full New York Mets jersey to school, the jersey top and the pants too. Now 11, going on 12, my favorite player was the Yankees ace, number 49, left-handed starting pitcher Ron Guidry. I wanted a Guidry jersey, so my folks took me to Wolf Sporting Goods, and I told them that I wanted the Yankee replica jersey, number 49. Do you want a name on the back? I wasn't sure if the Yankees had names on the back of their jerseys, and you couldn't Google it in 1978, but said sure. The next day, I proudly wore my new Guidry jersey to school. Soon someone told me, the Yankees don't have names on the back of their jerseys. It's Friday. I'm in. Love, David. So this is to Alina Moskovitz and Eric Shaw, a couple of musicians I'm friends with. And everyone calls Alina Leaner. Dear Lena and Eric, Richie Zappa was a hustler. My best friend Barry and I met him when we were 13 or 14 and heavy into baseball cards, buying a 1981 Topps case of 12,000 cards, splitting them up into stars we could sell, invest in, selling cards at a show, printing up business cards, S&M collectibles, sports and memorabilia, that is. So the 3 of us would gamble with the cards, flipping them sometimes or more often scaling them, where the winner was whoever's card came closest to the wall, with a leaner, a card leaning up against the wall, the closest you could get. It's Friday. I'm in. Love, David. This one is to Sharon Mesmer, October 28th of last year. Dear Sharon, he said things he wouldn't say straight to your face, girl. He flarfed the film to the crowd after going to the back of the room. I don't know if anyone separates 2 artists joined. You should know I'm very happy. I wish you knew me well. I'd be even happier. I crush you. I crush you. It's Friday. I'm in. Love, David. Another one of these. This one's to Wanda Pips, November 18th of last year. Dear Wanda, I met Mike Greco in the summer of 1985 while on the sidewalk outside of Radio City Music Hall on a Saturday, waiting for tickets for Sting's Dream of the Blue Turtles tour to go on sale that Monday, sharing a hotel room that Saturday night with a bunch of others from the line, once we were given numbers. A few weeks later, I was at his place in Belmore, New Jersey, visiting him and his girlfriend, Diana, We met that same night outside Radio City. It's Friday, I'm in. Love, David. This is to my friend Yoko Kikuchi. It's November 25th. Dear Yoko, after my grandpa, my dad's dad, died in 1959, my grandma Minnie eventually went to work for the first time since she became Mrs. Abraham Kirschenbaum. Grandma sold scarves at Lane's department store by Union Square, where she became friends with the actress Sherry North, who 2 decades earlier, 20th Century Fox signed to a contract, grooming her for roles Marilyn Monroe would turn down, Fox unable to control Monroe. But 2 North screen tests later, while donned in Marilyn's studio wardrobe, it didn't lead to her being cast. Nowadays, part-time faculty are striking over at the former Lane's grounds, where the new school still won't yield on a cost of living increase. When Grandma Minnie passed away in the fall of '73, a few months before I turned 7, she was working at Joyce Leslie on University Place just above East 8th Street, outside of the fitting rooms, shooing away men from the women trying on clothes. It's Friday, I'm in. Love, David. Here's one to Steph Gray, who's a great poet and filmmaker. Dear Steph, in July of 1992, I came back to Albany after my first Naropa summer. I had a feature in a big summer reading series at the Robert Burns statue in Washington Park. I stayed at John Weiler's for a week or so. Every weekday he went to work and I immersed myself in his cassettes collection, learning his music each day, from the Canadian punk rock band No Means No through early REM to non-Nico Velvet Underground. That September, when I read in the Jawbone series at SUNY Albany, I began what I would do at all my featured readings for a while. Read my own work, some by D.A. Levy and Gerard Manley Hopkins, sing the Velvet Stephanie Says, sometimes backed by Kurt and John, aka the Musician Guys. It's Friday, I'm in. Love, David. And look at these last 2. So I'll read this first on love and baseball. Through 12 adult Valentine's days, I've had a lover 5 times, a .417 average of love or baseball. I'd have been the first 400 hitter since Ted Williams hit 406 in 1941, but the last time up I went down swinging. 2. After kissing 3 different women on 3 consecutive days, on the 4th day, no such luck. But then I think how in 1941 the great DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak was halted by smooth-fielding Indian Kenny Keltner, manning the hot corner, Possessed, before DiMaggio reeled off another 18-game streak. 3. President Clinton has televised his confessional and retreated. A few days later at Shea Stadium, Mark McGwire hits his 50th and 51st home runs to the pop of 1,000 faraway flashes. As a man in the Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Bush t-shirt passes by, a few seconds before the public address announcer directs our attention to a school board proposal. Tisha, will you marry me, Mark? Jim, why don't you come up? We'll do that last one. Jim and I did a project. We did a few projects. This is from December of 2020.
Sorry, Dave.
That's all right. So I read and he answered. I wrote and then he answered. December 19th, 2020. I'm watching Juliana Hatfield perform her second solo album, Become What You Are, live on her YouTube channel more than 29 years after seeing her perform for the first time as part of the Blake Babies at Bogey's in Albany, New York, on St. Patrick's Day of 1991. They wanted vegetarian before the show, so we went to Mother Earth's Cafe and chatted while listening to this guy playing multiple John Denver covers. Frida telling me the way to make a perfect cup of coffee, you need the coldest possible beans and the coldest possible water. While Juliana exclaimed, we're all 23, all the coolest people are 23.
I met Juliana Hatfield twice. Once, I was her cashier on the first floor of Waterstone's Booksellers on Boston's hardly passionate Newbury Street, as Robert Lowell might have called it. I teased her for buying home improvement magazines. You have some heavy reading to do, I joked. She laughed, or maybe I just remember her laughing. Once, I was flirting with her downstairs at the Middle East in Central Square, Cambridge, at a Helium concert. Then Evan Dando from the Lemonheads came over, and she forgot all about me. Yes. Once on Twitter, I teased her about writing a song about her sister when she doesn't have a sister. She liked it, but she didn't retweet it.